Somewhere along the way, golf turned into a game where half the battle isn't even hitting the ball, it's surviving the bad advice. The golden rule golf industry loves to hammer into every beginner's skull, keep your head down, because apparently the secret to perfect ball striking is to transform yourself into a statue the second you swing. I mean, sure, if your goal is to lock your body up tighter than an overcooked noodle, then by all means, glue your chin to your chest and see how that works out. The truth is, the whole keep your head down thing is a misinterpretation of something way more subtle. Great players like Tiger, Rory, even old man Jack Nicklaus, they don't keep their heads down forever. They keep their eyes on the ball through impact, yes, but their heads move naturally with their bodies right after. Watch Rory McIlroy swing in slow-mo sometime. His head follows his rotation. It's part of the motion, not something he's fighting against. Locking your head down just kills your rotation, collapses your posture, and turns your beautiful, flowing swing into a sad, jerky mess. Of course, once you're sufficiently stiff and miserable, the next brilliant piece of advice usually comes floating in. You must hit down on the ball with your irons, like there's a secret bonus prize waiting if you just smash the ball into the earth hard enough. I say, congratulations, you're now halfway to digging a swimming pool on the 7th fairway. Look, pros do create a descending strike with irons, but it's not because they're slamming the club down. It's because of the natural physics of a good swing. Hands slightly ahead of the ball at impact, weight shifting forward, club head following the motion, not forcing it. If you actually try to hit down, you're probably going to bury the club, chunk the ball, or worse, blade it straight into someone's forehead. Watch Colin Morikawa, one of the cleanest ball strikers alive. His irons glide through impact. There's no angry stomping or violent chop. It's just swinging properly and letting the contact happen. Even if you survive those two myths, the golf gods have one final trick waiting: the legendary, soul-destroying, swing hard to hit far. I mean, sure, if you want to look like you're trying to send your driver into orbit, by all means, give it everything you've got. But in reality, distance comes from leverage, timing, and efficiency, not from turning yourself into a human tornado. Look at guys like Jon Rahm. Rahm's swing looks compact, like he's barely trying, yet he's consistently one of the longest hitters on tour. Swinging harder often just destroys your balance, messes up your sequence, and, cherry on top, probably slices the ball into a different zip code. So if you're out there grunting like a tennis player every time you tee it up, you need to stop that. And that's just the beginning. Believe it or not, the myths get even dumber from here. The shorter the putt, the easier the shot. That's what most newbies are told, and you can't blame the advisors because that surely seems so when you're only looking and have never played. They tell that to every poor soul who missed a 2-footer to lose their Saturday skins match. But some pros literally choke from 3 feet away on national television. Short putts aren't automatically easier, they're just different. Different pressure shifts the mindset. A 3-foot putt isn't about mechanics, but it's about nerves. You can have the best stroke in the world, but if your brain short circuits under pressure, poof, there goes your par. Watch the final rounds of any major and count how many times players miss those easy putts when everything's on the line. You'll need more than 2 hands. Short putts demand trust, not extra pressure. They punish doubt way faster than they punish bad form. So yeah, go ahead, tell yourself it's easy, then watch how sweaty your palms get when it actually matters. Just when you're out there spiraling over a 3-foot putt, someone will come over and bless you with another gem from the Golf Myth Hall of Fame. You must keep your left arm perfectly straight forever. Forever. As if you're auditioning to become a scarecrow mid-swing. I mean, have you ever watched a golf swing? Like a real one? Nobody, and I mean nobody, keeps their lead arm ramrod straight the entire time. Not even the absolute legends. Sure, a relatively straight lead arm at the top of the backswing helps with width and structure. That's basic physics, but hyper-fixating on keeping it death grip straight, that's how you turn a golf swing into a slow, miserable act of yoga torture. Look at Jordan Spieth. His lead arm has a noticeable bend at the top of his backswing. Last I checked, he's doing just fine. Or look at Lee Trevino. The man could wobble and wiggle that lead arm all over and still stripe it down the fairway. Flexibility, rhythm, and flow beat some rigid, self-imposed straight-arm prison sentences every single time. Because right when you think you've mentally wrestled your way out of the myth swamp, the golf industry rolls up like, hey buddy, maybe you just need new clubs. I mean, of course. When in doubt, blame the equipment. Never mind that you're topping 7 irons like you're playing croquet, clearly. What you really need is to remortgage your house for a new set of irons with a different shade of chrome. Look, new clubs can help if your gear is genuinely wrong for your swing, like using clubs made for a 6'5" linebacker when you're built more like, say, Tom Cruise. But if your fundamentals are broken, new clubs are just new problems. The myth that buying a new driver will fix your slice is like thinking a new blender will automatically make you a gourmet chef. It's marketing, not magic. And don't just take my word for it. Look at guys like Brooks Koepka. He won majors with an absolute Frankenstein bag of clubs, mixing brands, playing with older models because he knew his swing, not because his driver was 1 month fresher than yours. And speaking of miracles, there's another classic that says, a lower-lofted driver guarantees more distance. Right, because nothing says, I know what I'm doing, like taking a club designed for 115-mile-per-hour swing speeds and slicing it into the nearest pond. The myth here comes from this half-truth that lower loft equals to less, spin equals to more, roll equals to more distance, which can be true if you're swinging like a PGA Tour pro. Otherwise, you've just turned your driver into a shot-put launcher. Lower lofted drivers are harder to launch, harder to control, and often lead to shorter drives for regular humans. Watch Rory McIlroy absolutely bomb 340-yard drives, and then check that he uses a driver with 9 degrees of loft. 9, not 6, not 4. He's not out here trying to hit line drives at groundhogs. He's launching it properly with the right amount of spin. Morale of the story? Don't chase loft numbers, chase launch angle, spin rates, and actually hitting the center of the face. And if all that wasn't enough to keep your mind spinning, there's always the old chestnut. You should keep your feet firmly planted during the swing, because apparently what this fluid, dynamic, rotational sport needs is cement shoes. Here's the deal. Trying to lock your feet to the ground is a great way to kill your hip turn, destroy your weight shifts, and generally swing like you're wearing a full body cast. Watch any powerful modern swing, Dustin Johnson, John Rahm, even Scotty Scheffler, who practically tap dances through impact. Their feet move, their heels come up, there's motion, adjustment, balance. You're not supposed to be doing some weird Civil War musket stance where you brace for recoil. Swinging a golf club well involves pressure shifts, back foot to front foot, inside edge to toe, not digging in like you're defending a castle. Trying to keep your feet frozen just robs you of natural rhythm and athleticism. And the last time I checked, nobody in history improved their swing by pretending to be a lawn ornament. Now I know you're thinking that you could start playing without feeling like a walking ad for Golf Digest, but here's another myth that says you need a full set of 14 clubs to play properly. That's exactly what every amateur golfer needs. A whole bag of clubs, all lined up perfectly like they're waiting for the PGA Tour to come knocking. Let me just burst that bubble real quick. You don't need 14 clubs. You might not even need 12 or 11 or 10. It all depends on how well you know your game and what shots you're likely to face. A driver, a putter, a wedge, and a couple of irons will probably do just fine. And yet here we are, with people thinking their game's a disaster because they don't have 14 clubs cluttering up their trunk. More clubs don't make you better, they just give you more chances to get distracted. Just like how you don't need 10 different kinds of pasta to make a meal, a couple will do as long as you know how to cook. And here's one final myth that honestly should have been put to rest decades ago. Only rich people can afford to play golf. And that is so not true because the game I've seen played by millions worldwide doesn't exactly scream only for the elite. Sure, the country clubs and the fancy private courses love to flex their membership fees, but golf is a game that can be enjoyed by pretty much anyone. The membership at Augusta might cost you an arm and a leg, but you can still play around at a public course for the price of a decent dinner. What's that? You don't have a country club membership? No problem. There are more public courses in the US than fast food joints. Golf is, by no means, just for the wealthy. Plenty of players grind it out in scrappy golf shoes and secondhand clubs, having the time of their lives. So let's cut through the myths and get back to the basics. Do you agree with what we just debunked? Or do you have some other golf truths that need a little myth busting of their own? Let me know what you think in the comments section.